London in the early 1700s awakens beneath a low, pearled sky, its light filtered through coal smoke and river mist. The city stretches along the Thames like a living organism, crowded, restless, and expanding beyond any clear boundary. Church bells toll across the rooftops, their echoes carried through narrow lanes where timbered houses lean toward one another, upper floors almost touching, as if sharing secrets above the street. This is a capital rebuilt from catastrophe, still shaped by the Great Fire of 1666, yet already straining under the weight of growth, ambition, and empire. Geographically, London is both defined and divided by the river. The Thames is its artery, crowded from dawn to dusk with barges, wherries, and merchant ships from every corner of the known world. From the Pool of London near the Tower to the busy docks downstream, cargo is unloaded by hand. Sugar from the Caribbean, tobacco from Virginia, spices from the East Indies, timber from the Baltic. The river smells of tar, wet wood, refuse, and opportunity. Along its banks, warehouses rise in brick and stone, symbols of a commercial age that is reshaping the city's identity. Politically, London stands at the heart of a constitutional monarchy newly defined by the Glorious Revolution. Parliament sits at Westminster, no longer overshadowed by absolute royal authority, but still dominated by landowners, merchants, and aristocrats. Coffeehouses buzz with debate. Whigs and Tories argue over trade, war, succession, and the reach of royal power. Pamphlets circulate rapidly, read aloud to crowds both literate and illiterate. London is not merely governed here. It thinks here, loudly and constantly. Daily life unfolds at a punishing pace. At first light, markets come alive. Covent Garden with its fruits and vegetables, Smithfield with its cattle, Billingsgate with fish hauled fresh from the river and sea. Street sellers shout their wares in sing-song cries that form a constant urban music. Apprentices sweep shop fronts, servants fetch water from public pumps, and laborers queue for work at building sites where the city is forever under construction. Clean water is scarce, sanitation almost non-existent, and disease a constant threat. Yet life presses forward with stubborn energy. Architecturally, London is a patchwork. In the city, grand post-fire buildings designed by Christopher Wren stand beside older medieval lanes that escape the flames. St. Paul's Cathedral dominates the skyline, its dome a statement of recovery and Protestant confidence. To the west, elegant squares are emerging: Bloomsbury, St. James's, and Mayfair, planned spaces for the wealthy, where symmetry replaces chaos and air feels cleaner than in the crowded east. The contrast is stark and deliberate, a map of social division etched into brick and stone. Beneath all of this lies tension. London is growing faster than it can sustain itself. Migration from the countryside swells the population, while wealth concentrates in fewer hands. The promise of opportunity draws thousands in, but survival remains uncertain. Crime, poverty, and inequality simmer just below the surface, waiting for moments of crisis to boil over. This is a city standing at first light, illuminated by ambition, shadowed by danger, and poised for transformation. To walk through London in the 1700s is to pass through many worlds in a single day. In the West End, powdered wigs and silk coats glide through orderly streets, while carriages rattle toward theaters, salons, and private clubs. Here, wealth is displayed openly, townhouses lined with portraits, silverware, and imported luxuries. Conversation revolves around politics, fashion, philosophy, and profit. This is the London that sees itself as the center of civilization. Only miles away, another city exists. In the east, near the docks and workshops, the air thickens with smoke and labor. Dockworkers haul cargo until their backs ache, paid by the day and dismissed without ceremony. Women sew, launder, brew, and sell, often working from dawn until exhaustion. Children run errands, sweep chimneys, or labor in trades before they can read. Poverty is not hidden here. It spills into the streets in the form of overcrowded housing, debtors, prisons, and workhouses where survival comes at the cost of dignity. Religion remains a powerful force, shaping both identity and division. The Church of England dominates public life, its spires rising across the city, but London is also home to dissenters, Methodists, Presbyterians, Quakers, and to Jewish communities rebuilding after centuries of exclusion. Sermons warn of moral decay, while revivalist preachers draw crowds by speaking directly to the poor and forgotten. Faith offers comfort, control, and at times, quiet rebellion against established authority. Trade and empire exert an ever-growing influence. London's wealth is tied directly to the Atlantic world, to colonies, plantations, and enslaved labor. Sugar refineries operate along the Thames, their profits sweetened by brutality thousands of miles away. Insurance houses, shipping firms, and banks grow powerful, turning risk into calculation and profit into policy. The city's prosperity is real, but it is unevenly earned and unevenly shared. Conflict, both external and internal, shapes daily life. Britain is frequently at war against France, Spain, and other rivals for global dominance. These wars drive industry and nationalism, but they also bring taxation, press gangs, and returning soldiers wounded or displaced. Within the city, unrest simmers. Riots break out over food prices, elections, and religious tensions. Crowds can form in minutes, fueled by rumor and anger, reminding authorities that control is never absolute. Law and order struggle to keep pace. Policing is fragmented, relying on watchmen and constables who are often underpaid and ineffective. Criminals exploit the maze-like streets, while public executions draw large crowds, blending justice with spectacle. New ideas about reform begin to circulate, about prisons, punishment, and responsibility, but change is slow, resisted by tradition and fear. Yet London is also a place of creativity and intellect. Writers, artists, and scientists gather in taverns and societies, exchanging ideas that will shape the Enlightenment. Newspapers multiply, spreading information at unprecedented speed. Satire flourishes, targeting corruption, hypocrisy, and excess. Even in its darkest corners, the city produces voices that challenge, observe, and imagine something different. By mid-century, pressure is mounting. Population growth, inequality, and the moral contradictions of empire strain the social fabric. London thrives, but it also teeters, caught between progress and chaos, refinement and brutality. The city is changing faster than its institutions can adapt, and the consequences are beginning to show. By the late 1700s, London has reached a defining moment. It is now the largest city in Europe, a global hub of finance, trade, and political influence. Its streets are more crowded than ever, its docks busier, its wealth more visible. Yet with scale comes vulnerability. The same forces that built London's power now expose its limits. Industrial change begins to reshape work and space. Small workshops give way to larger enterprises, and mechanization hints at a future that will transform labor entirely. The city's infrastructure strains under the weight of its population. Water supplies are polluted, housing shortages worsen, and disease remains a constant specter. Reformers call for sanitation, planning, and public responsibility, laying the groundwork for the modern city to come. Politically, the echoes of revolution abroad are impossible to ignore. Events in America and France send shockwaves through London's ruling class and working poor alike. Ideas about rights, representation, and liberty circulate widely, discussed in taverns and printed in cheap pamphlets. Fear of upheaval leads to crackdowns, surveillance, and repression, even as demands for reform grow louder. London stands watchful, aware that its stability is not guaranteed. Culturally, the city leaves a lasting imprint. Its theaters, newspapers, and literary circles define taste and opinion far beyond Britain's shores. The image of London, fog-bound, industrious, unequal, alive, enters the global imagination. It becomes a symbol of modern urban life, with all its promise and peril entwined. As the century draws to a close, London is no longer merely recovering from the past. It is accelerating toward the future. The medieval city has been eclipsed by something larger and more complex, a metropolis shaped by commerce, conflict, and human resilience. Its contradictions remain unresolved, but its influence is undeniable. The London of the 1700s leaves a powerful legacy. It teaches that cities are not just built from stone and street, but from ambition, labor, belief, and struggle. In its crowded lanes and grand avenues, the foundations of the modern world are visible, uneven, contested, and enduring. To understand this London is to glimpse the moment when history stepped forward, carrying the city with it into an age that still defines us today.